your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a...
Hey guys, welcome back to Middleton Talk. My name is Carmelita Middleton, and today I have two very important people in my life. This is my dad, Bill Falkenberry, and this is my mom, Rami Sabito, and today we're talking about co-parenting. My parents are divorced, and they wanted to tell you a little bit about their journey, but before we get started, here's some facts about divorce. So the divorce rate is higher in ages 25 to 39, and 23 out of 1,000 people get divorced each year. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna ask them some questions, and they're just gonna basically explain their journey throughout their process. So we know they all been divorced. They've been divorced since 2004, since I was 4 years old. It is 2023 now, so they've been divorced for a whole long time. But the thing is, they've never divorced me and my siblings. So my mom is gonna start, she's the most talkative one, and she's gonna explain her side of how her and my dad worked out and was able to create a knit relationship to be able to parent me and my brothers. What?
Well, I don't think that we ever had agreement. We were just, you know, we know that we cared about each other for a while. We were married for a long time. When we got divorced, we know from day one it wasn't about you guys. You know, it was about we didn't get along. So it wasn't hard for us. I mean, it was hard when we got divorced. We had the hate and the anger and all that stuff, but it didn't stop the love. I think we loved each other to know that, hey, our kids can come first.
Exactly. Dad, what about you?
Well, I agree.
Y'all are so nervous.
What she said, when we divorced, we didn't hate each other. We fell in love when we met to start with. So that, I mean, when we got divorced, there wasn't another woman or another man or anything waiting. It was just us. The only difference, we were just divorced. Now we're living in different houses. We still had children. I took you to school. I took Rossi. You saw me every day.
Every single day.
The divorce papers said every other week, but that didn't matter to me. What were they going to do? Arrest me for taking my kids to school? I mean, come on. I didn't worry about that. Your mom didn't worry about it either. If I wanted to come and contribute, your mom, she was open to that. We only slowed down. You know, we each got married again, but that was only for a short period of time. You know, and then we were back single again, and there's just been no other person that could interfere with me being around you and Rossi. And when we got divorced, I never really distinguished between you, Rossi, and your mom. Y'all were all under my care for a long time. I couldn't just turn that off, you know. Yeah. And I wasn't going to. I'm a soldier, baby. I don't leave nobody behind. That's the way that works.
So growing up, I did a lot of sports, and my brother also, my older brother Rossi, did a lot of sports too. A really weird thing that we noticed as growing up would be when parents came to, let's say, basketball games or football games, one parent would be on the other side of the bleachers and the other parent would be on the opposite side of the bleachers. Well, my parents were really different. They drove in the same car, they sat next to each other, and my dad would drop all of us off at my mom's house and then go back to his house. Because the fact is, we were a family, and even though they had divorce papers, like my dad was saying, he did not divorce us. So my mom always makes this joke that my dad was an awful husband, but he was a great father. And I think that is such a true thing, that my dad is such a great father, because like I said, even now today, they're doing this video, what, you've been divorced, why are you trying to cry? Oh my God. You've been divorced since 2004, over like 20 years it seems like. Almost 20 years. 18. And 18 years, that's crazy. That's longer than they were married. 19. But
we were married for 17 years.
Wow, that's a long time. Not that cry. Jeez. So if you had, what was the hardest thing, the hardest leap to get over when you were in your divorce stage with us? Because I know that there's a lot of moms out there who will divorce the father and use the children against the dad because of their hatred. So what was your advice? Oh my God. What's your advice, Mom? Okay, Dad, what is your advice on the father side of being married with someone else, but having to still take care of me and Rossi, and then communicating with Mom every
See,
single day.
that's where I was married one time to Rhonda for a short period of time, but then that was it. That was certain circumstances that had, but there wasn't any more because I wouldn't allow it, because I knew that if I got caught up. See, you think I was this great dad, and I appreciate that.
You are Dad.
But also, I have a daughter in Tennessee that I wasn't a great dad to.
Well,
So everything, that's what I didn't want to happen, because I already did that to my daughter in Tennessee. I left and I didn't come back. I went
You
to the
went to
Army
the
and I
Army.
didn't go back. So that was one thing I was up against that made me work harder. And I didn't want to allow anyone else in my life that could possibly, interfere, so to speak. So I didn't do that. I just didn't. I don't think your mom did. She didn't. She got married twice.
God, okay.
She came to me to help. I had to help her get
It's a live TV girl, you know.
She-
Well,
we didn't have other people involved. That's what we did. We just didn't.
Yeah, I think for us, it's hard because we both were married, but our kids was the most important thing, and there's not a lot of people that we dated can relate. We didn't have a relationship as husband and wife. We had a relationship as we always going to be parent, and that's what makes it special, because it's crazy.
Mom,
No.
don't cry. You made me cry because I'm watching.
No, because
you cry.
you really haven't met somebody that will be like your dad, to assume a father figure, to your kids, and have that good role model and a good father. We always argue back and forth, but our kids was always number one. And people that we meet, it's hard because if a kid, if I will call and I said the kids need something, Bill was right there. And it was never like, okay, I have to do something. It was like, look, I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to be there. And for me, I give Bill shit, sometimes, and I talk shit about him, but I always know that I can pick up the phone no matter what.
Yes.
And he will always be there, and that's what makes us have they don't say a love-hate relationship. We have a relationship that our kids, gonna be there. Rossi, Carmelita, Aiden, and people don't understand. You can meet a lot of people that you can. They're like, oh yeah, I'll be a father and I want to date you, but it's like, okay, you have kids, you're gonna date. And for Bill, it was like, look, okay, stuff happened in life, but I'm gonna be a father to your kids, my kids, and that makes me think that he's a special person, because nobody will step up to the plate as he would. And and the ladies out there, we sometimes we do use our kids as a bait. Like, okay, if you don't come and do this, then you're not gonna get to see the kids. And we didn't have that. I opened the door. Bill and I got divorced. I had to give my kids to his girlfriends, and that was hard because we had a relationship, and he was a good person. We go places, we're always going somewhere, and it's you don't meet somebody like him all the time. Yeah. And that's a blessing. We don't fight. He's there for Christmas, he's there for birthdays, and I always tell the people that I date, Bill's, that's my ex-husband, he's going to be there. Throughout everything, and they have to accept him. There's not a lot of people can accept that, and they're like, come and like, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, but then you have to love. I have a past, he has a past, we all have a past, but the thing is, our kids, even if they're grown up, they're still gonna be in our life. I'm over at my daughter's house, My ex-husband is here. We don't have a relationship, but we have a
friendship.
A friendship, and it's not a relationship. It's like it's more than it's like it's a friendship, and we're always gonna have that. It's not no love, but it's respect.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of respect for Bill because he do things that a lot of men will do. You know, he goes to games. He's there for the kids. You know, so it's a blessing. You know, it's a blessing to have somebody in your life that you can depend on no matter what, even though you're not giving hell all the time, but
all the time. All right, Dad. So my next question is, how did y'all decide on your relationship? Like, after you got divorced, how did you say, okay, we're always gonna have the kids, you know, the first thing we're gonna do is our kids? Like, how were y'all able to become friends and still be able to go to functions like, you know, basketball games, volleyball games, etc.?
I didn't change anything. When we got divorced, I never distinguished between Ramey, you, or Rossi. As far as I was concerned, y'all are all my family. My family's in Tennessee. I don't see them a lot. My family's here in Houston, the closest I have. Your mother right now is my oldest friend here. When I met your mom, I was in the Army.
Oh, yeah.
All my friends, the few little friends I have in Houston right now, I met after I got out of the Army.
Oh, wow.
So your mom's very familiar to me.
So it's easy just to be able to, like, go to functions because at the same time, like you said, we are the main...
Because I wanted to show you, you know, when you're a parent, your kids watch you act.
Yes.
So I wanted you and Rossi to see me act like a guy that's doing
like
what
gentleman.
he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's not about my desires. I always put my desires last. It's don't take much to make me happy, trust me. I'm pretty easy. But when it comes to you and Rossi and Ramey, y'all were all just like my own, y'all were all just like the same.
The same, yeah.
It wasn't like I had an ex-wife. I never even used that phrase just till recently.
Yeah, Mom uses it all the time. Excellent.
I never called Ramey my ex-wife. Never. I always just called Ramey. I just said, well, Ramey. It was years before my friends here in Houston knew I was divorced.
Really?
Yeah, it was years. They said, well, why are you living over here? Why are you doing that? I said, well, we've been divorced 15 years. Yeah, I got a good friend of mine, Steve. You know Steve?
Yeah.
I met Steve. I knew Steve for a long time before I actually met him face to face. We talked on the phone. He ran a law office where I took a lot of cases out of. And he was divorced from his wife, and Rhonda had died, and I had met him, and we were working a case or doing something. And he heard me talk to your mom on the phone. He didn't know who it was. He said, man, you ought to date her. You ought to date her. I said, this is my ex-wife. He said, you talk to your ex-wife that way? I'm like, well, yes. You know, I'm nice to my ex-wife. He said, I'm going to try that with my ex-wife. And you know, him and Sandra got remarried. 3 months later, he started talking good, and they're married today.
Oh, wow.
Their second time, yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know how to explain it. There's no reason to be mean.
Yeah.
Well,
Your mom was a lot younger than me. You know, I cared for her since I met her when she was 17. I taught her a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Got her driver's license, got her citizenship, did a lot for your mom.
You taught her how to drive. Now you bought her driver's license. Let's just be real.
No.
but you know, it is.
But that was just a lot I did for her, so it's hard to cut that off just in one day. We didn't live a bad marriage and finally get a divorce.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't have really got divorced. We lived a fun marriage for about 12, 14 years. We had a great time. And then all of a sudden we got angry one day, and then she went out and filed the divorce. And then I got angry because she did it, so I signed it. Well, there you were.
To be continued with that, but it's not. We didn't come to an agreement. You know, we love our kids. You know, we love you guys. You know, so it wasn't an agreement. Hey, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. No, it was just like we were living separate life. We were divorced. All the anger, the whatever hurt, because we did I was young. I got married 17, divorced at 30. So all I know was Bill. You know, and I got out of that luxurious life, and then had to take care of myself. And so that it was, I didn't want to have a divorce because I think divorce was like a disease,
Yeah.
and I wanted to have a family because I didn't have it. And I came from a broken family, and when we were together, we were like, we didn't have friends. We were just happy, So it's not like, okay, hey, we have to come to an agreement, like what you're gonna do. It was just like, we just continue to flow.
Yeah, because I know that growing up, I would go to school, and then I'd be dropped off at your house, Dad, and then after we'd like spend some time with you, like a few hours, we'd eat dinner sometimes, and then Mom would either come pick us up or you would drop us back at Mom's. And that was like a continuous thing, and it was always like, it was never the fact that I'd have to pack a bag. I remember growing up, kids would be like, oh, I can't hang out with you this weekend because I have to pack my bag and I have to go to my dad's house or I have to go to my mom's house. And I'm like, well, it was kind of fun growing up with 2 different households because I got 2 separate rooms. I got a really nice room at my mom's house and I got a really nice room at my dad's house. I got 2 wardrobes. I had clothes at my dad's house. So I never had to worry about packing a bag because all my essentials I needed were at my dad's house and everything I needed was at my mom's house. So it was kind of like growing up, I had 2 birthdays, 2 birthday gifts, not necessarily 2 birthdays because my parents always came together because my birthday is Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So my dad was always invited. Whether my mom was married or not, my dad was there. Whether my mom liked it or not, my dad was there because of me and my brother, because of the holidays and everything like that. So I wanted to touch on that subject, Dad. Mm-hmm. How did you feel, how were you able to overcome the feeling of like coming over to Mom's house while she was married, but you had to spend holidays with us because like you said, we are your only family here and you wanted to spend time with us, but it was all, I feel like it was kind of, I never thought it as weird, but how did you feel when Mom was married and you would come to her house on holidays?
Well, I didn't go there a whole lot when you were married, I don't think. I think when you were married, I was married.
Yeah, but y'all would still come over.
No, you would come to Rhonda, and when I was with Rhonda, that's when she was with Steve, and we didn't do that. Y'all came to our house and did Thanksgiving, and then y'all came to y'all's house.
You came over when I was married with Steven.
I came over a lot because I had to take Ross to school.
I'm saying you came over like you had a
I came over
a Thanksgiving dinner with us.
Yeah, maybe
so it's but when you were married, like when you were married, when you were dating Rhonda, you were still you came over. I was married.
I came over. I had nowhere else to go. My family's in Tennessee.
Yeah, but how did you feel? Were you like uncomfortable or like?
No, of course I was a little uncomfortable, but I didn't care, baby. Trust me, you can't make me. I'm a detective. I'm in the jail. I go to prisons. I go to courthouse every day. I mean, I meet with a lot of people that are in sad, bad situations. Mm-hmm. To go into your mom's house to eat a turkey is not a bad thing for me. Your mom is a fantastic cook. Trust me, I had a good time. It wasn't torture. Look at your mom. Yeah, I would go anytime to go over there now.
Well, it was it was like we were married, but I mean, my husband at the time know that hey, this is still family because it's like, for instance, when I don't talk about my second marriage because it wasn't really, it was a marriage, it was good, but I was always talking about Bill because he was the longest, he's the person that I know, and I mean, it's, we don't meet, like when we went for child support, I was with you, I drove with you, when we went to different places, I drove with you, and they were like, Miss Falkenberry.
When the judge hit the gavel, boom, you are now divorced people. We walked out of the courthouse. Your mom, to start with, didn't know the way home, so she was going to follow me home, back to Katy. And we stopped at a Mexican restaurant and had margaritas. And we ate, and we went back to Katy. It's no big thing. Because like I said, there's no hate there. There was nothing done in our divorce that really was, it didn't just happen.
Well, then if you went to go have margaritas after, why did you get divorced? That don't make any sense.
Well, because we just did. We already started the paperwork and it was already in motion, and your mom wanted to do other things and try this, and she was young, and now she grew up. From 17 to 30 is a big lot of time. Gap. And I was like, I was busy with my business. I had 200 armed guards working, and I had a lot of cases I was working. I don't know. Your mom did it. She filed it.
No, it's we continue with this part. No, but it is.
If she wants a divorce, get a divorce. I knew I was not going anywhere.
Yeah.
In my heart, I knew I wasn't leaving. The divorce papers can say what they want to say, but there's no deputy in Texas that's going to arrest me for taking my child to school.
Well, we didn't divorce the kids. You know, we didn't divorce the
kids.
kids.
The weekend thing didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I knew that wasn't going to happen. I saw y'all every single day.
Every single day.
Rossi had basketball practice at 5:30 in the morning. And I knew your mom wasn't going to get up at 4 o'clock just to make that happen.
Yeah, no, Mom was not.
So it was good for me to take him to school.
And like with me, with having to feed for FFA, you took me.
Mm-hmm.
The mom definitely was not going to do that.
Well, they do sometimes, but I mean, but you know what? We have a relationship that people don't. People don't have. And I'll touch on this subject too. Like for instance, Aiden. You know, Aiden came into the picture, and you know, it's like, I mean, this is real. This is life. This is, you know, what I talk about. You know, I'm transparent. Because there's a lot of people that need to hear our story, because, you know, we might not touch, you know, everybody in the world, but we might touch one person, you know. So I got into a relationship, and, you know, it's nice and sweet, and, you know, stuff happens, and I had, you know, my baby, and, you know, Bill stepped up to the plate, you know, as...
Well, Carmelita put me on the spot, because...
You did?
Yeah, Carmelita, you did, because your mom... Well, I mean, she was doing what I wouldn't bother your mom. She's pregnant. That had nothing to do with me, right? And then one day I picked you up to go ride your horse, and you said, Dad, we have to take Mom to the hospital on Monday. She's gonna have the baby. So now, once again, your children watch you act. You gotta know that, because I got one part of my brain saying, screw that shit. It ain't nothing to do with me. But then I've got the other part saying, Bill, don't do it. Don't do it. Show Carmelita what a man's supposed to do in this situation. She's your 13-year-old daughter. Yeah. Now, what you say right now is going to be very, very important to how she's going to see any other man ever. Mm-hmm. So I just told you what. I said, that's great. Let me know what time to be there.
I remember that.
I had to go do that. And you think that's kind of weird? That's weird.
Oh yeah.
That was a weird thing. But since it was Raimi, I love Raimi. I don't want to see Raimi hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want to see her in pain. So I'm okay with that.
I remember when Mom gave birth to Aiden. You were at the hospital literally the whole entire time.
Yeah, I went
you slept there, and then in the morning. They had to do Mom's epidural, so I remember you took me downstairs to eat waffles. No, they didn't have waffles, they only had French toast. So me and you were eating French toast, and we came back up, and Granny was with you, and you were like, oh, Carmelita, they broke my water, and I remember I was so hysterically upset, because I was like, I want to be there.
I don't think your mom was there.
Yeah, Granny was there, because she was in the room when the doctor was there to break Mom's water. And then I remember after Mom had Aiden, they literally wrapped Aiden up, didn't even give him to Mom, and turned over to you and was like, here's your son. And you went, okay. And you held him. And I'm thinking,
I was like, give me my son.
Yeah.
That was when I was locked in.
Yeah, you were the first one to hold Aiden, so.
He's cute, I can't win.
It was funny looking.
You know, and, you know, for me, there's not a lot of people that will do that. You know, there's not a lot of men who will step up to the plate to assume a father figure, you know. And, you know, like for me, dating, you know, I'm just keeping it real, you know. I was in a relationship for a long time, you know, and I love this guy. I really like being in a relationship that some people don't understand the friendship that Bill and I have. They don't understand that that he's always going to be there, and there's no like ever getting back together. There's always like he's always going to be a father, you know. He's always going to be somebody in my life, no matter what, you know. And it's hard dating. That's the hardest thing for me that I find in dating, that they don't understand that. Mm-hmm. You know, I was in a relationship with a guy that I really, really care about, but he didn't understand. He was like, divorced people don't talk. And that is not true, because divorced people, they come together, they're divorced, but the love that they have is with their kids, you know, with their family, you know, and that's what keep us together. You know, I look at Bill's like, yeah, he was my ex-husband, and but I look at him. I don't look at him like, okay, yes, like ex-husband is like that's the father for my kids, and because I think I don't think I respect him in a way that that you know means a lot to me for the things that he did. You know, he did a lot, you know, to take care of, you know, of you guys as a father, and that's something that they don't understand because it's always, oh well, your ex-husband is over there, aren't you? Why is he over there? Or your ex-husband, you call your ex-husband, something happened, and well, he will always be in the picture. Yes, he will always be in the picture. So like if I meet somebody, I'll need for them to understand is that Bill and I have a relationship for you guys. I mean, you guys are old. Yeah. You know, everybody moved out except Aiden, but we still have grandkids. You know, we're not gonna show oh the dad is over there, and people don't understand that. You know, we're gonna show up. We showed up with each. When I was married, I showed up. My husband or my boyfriend. And he showed up with his girlfriend, so that will never change. And people don't understand that Bill and I, we're not in a relationship for us, but we're in a relationship for the kids. And now we have grandkids, and it's hard in the dating life or you know being with people that is not mature enough to understand. You know.
Do you have anything to say for that?
No, I just.
So,
Yeah.
I know that we have. I know that some people, when they say they're not in a relationship but they have a kid together, what is your advice to help them learn how to co-parent when they've never been together, or they just say they're in this very weird stage that they need to have their kid the main focus? So what would your advice be, Dad, for the dad of co-parenting? What is your biggest takeaway that you could let your kids know if, you know, we ever needed to co-parent?
Well, I never planned on co-parenting. I'm not even sure what we did fits in that arena. Your mom and I fell in love. So my advice is don't fall in love with anybody. Don't have children with anybody you don't want, that you hadn't fell in love with, number one. Because it's easy for me to co-parent with Ramey, because I love Ramey. You see? Could I have co-parented with any of my other people I've been involved with in my life? Probably not. You see?
Yeah.
So, you know, it is what it is. I don't have any real advice. I mean, just, I don't know. I didn't, like I said, I never had to make a decision, I'm going to co-parent.
Yeah, it was just
It
always
didn't
just going to be
I've
dad.
always, if your mom called me on the phone, if you called me, if Rossi called me, I was always involved in what you were doing. I always took you to ride your horse. We got the horse situation going. I took Rossi to the boxing team every day. I was already involved in things. There was at no point did I have to make a decision to stay involved. I was just involved. And I never married no one or dated no one that I would allow to interfere with that. And like I said, part of my working so hard is because I already failed once in my life with my first family in Tennessee with Jennifer, your sister, my ex-wife Kim. I already failed in that once, you see. So I didn't want to, when your mom filed the divorce, that was failure for me. But I didn't want to let it touch more than I could control. I mean, it's like, okay, we get the divorce, I'm still going to take care of you, and I'm still going to take care of the kids. I'm still going to do. I just have to do it from 15 miles away. That's all it is just a drive to get to do the same thing. I'm just not in the same house.
Yeah.
And on many instances, that could be a good thing. I mean, a lot of people. Let me tell you, the people that can be. I've got an uncle that was married, and my parents, by the way, were married their whole lives.
Over 67 years.
And they were together every single day. They worked together. They drove to work together. And how they did that, I have no idea. But I also have an uncle that was married to his wife for a long, long time. He was a truck driver. That worked. Why not?
Yeah, because they had some distance.
I got a good friend of mine that's been a truck driver. He's never sees his wife, for a lot of years. But they never got divorced. Well, that could be a good thing.
I
You know what
guess.
I'm saying? I got another friend of mine's a truck driver that drives truck with his wife. And they stay together every single day, and they've been married forever.
But I think it's the more in the love that we have for our kids. You know, we might not had, you know, we had the love.
I think
For
it's more
us.
than a love, though. You're going to love your kid. Every parent loves their kid. That's a natural.
But
You
it's
get
just
that easy.
unselfish love.
But the selfishness that a guy
Yeah.
or lady has, once you get a divorce, you have to put your just like you asked me, how'd that feel going over to your mom's house with her husband there?
Yeah.
Well, of course, I feel like that's stupid to do. You know, like I said, I had one part of my brain saying, Bill, well, you're an idiot. Hit that guy in the mouth when you get there. You know what I'm saying? But no, the other part of me was saying, no, Bill, this is the right thing to do. Your kids are watching you act accordingly. Act like the guy you're supposed to do. Go over there and have a meal and enjoy your family, get together. And when you leave, when I leave, I can go anywhere I want to go. I'm not sentenced to the thing. But my thing is, everything don't have to be fun. See, that's where a lot of people get confused. Okay. Everyone wakes up every day. Everyone, you know, they get married as long as it's fun. If it's not fun, they run and get a divorce, or they do this or they do that. You know, everything don't have to be comfortable. It don't have to be fun. Some things you do in your life, just maybe it ain't the funnest thing in the world you've ever done, but you still do it if it's the right thing to do. You got a choice every day to do what's right or what's not right. Then you got to choose the right thing. You do it just because sometimes you do things just because it's the right thing to do. It won't make sense. You may not like it, but in your mind and in your conscience and in your gut, you know it's the right thing to do. And that's the way I've lived these last 20 years, or almost my whole adult life. Even when I was in the Army, you think the Army was fun? Of course not.
I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't fun, but I mean, it was what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to do it because it was fun. I just wanted to do it because it was something I wanted to do. Everything don't have to be fun. Everything don't have to be comfortable. People like their comfort zone. You try to get somebody out of their comfort zone, and they don't like that.
That's true.
You know, my own son, Rossi, he's a man that, by God, if you ask him to if you want to take him to dinner, you tell him, look, let me go buy you a meal. Well, where are we going? You know, because it has to be something he likes and where he wants to go, or he won't want to do it.
Yeah, that's
You see
true.
what I'm saying? He ain't going to do it, just spend time with his dad.
Yeah,
You
he's
see what I'm saying?
gonna
Now,
want
when you were
to
a kid, I walked up to the house and said, come in, I'm going to take you something to eat. Let's go. You didn't care where we went.
Yeah, that's
Of
true.
course, on the way there, you might negotiate something, but you would at least take off.
Yeah.
Some people are like that. You just have to, in order to co-parent or do anything separate of your wife, or if you got an ex-wife, you got to be compromised.
Yeah.
Everything has to be a compromise. It can't be your deal. You have to give up what you want just for a minute, and focus on what everybody else wants.
That's true.
My idea when y'all were growing up and when me and your mom divorced, I just want to keep her happy. Because I already lived in a house with her, because I knew if she wasn't happy, it wasn't going to be good for you. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I said, poor Raymond, and Raymond was a kid when I met her. You know, she's 17. So when she got 30, she grew up and wanted to do other stuff. I don't blame Raymond for any of that, but she became a woman, and that's good. But that was different for me, and I didn't need that. My personality is to help people.
Mm-hmm.
I helped my first wife. I helped my second wife. I helped your mom.
Jeez,
You know,
how
Well,
do
it's, I don't think,
that was my whole personality. Once someone gets to the point to where they don't need my help, I lose interest. I'll be honest with you. I will lose interest.
but I don't think, Bill, I don't think it was
It's hard for me to
something,
be married to you, trust me.
Bill, I don't think that it was something that I gave up that I didn't want to be in. I just think that it was a situation that I didn't want to compromise. You know, I believe that when I got married, it was married for better, for worse, and to be with a man that I got married for the rest of my life, because I came from a broken family, and I didn't want that for my family, for my kids, and it was hard for me to make a decision. But I had to make a decision, and it's not being selfish. And I said, okay, if I had to be selfish in that way, then I can't be selfish with my kids. So the decision that it's not me wanted to grow up, it was just a situation that we were in that I wouldn't have accepted. But it didn't stop us from being a parent. And that's what people don't understand. Coming from when you were dating, they didn't understand that you had a wife and they were expecting to see an ugly wife or a fat wife or whatever wife, and they didn't understand that we still had that a relationship, but it was based on the love that we had and the love that we had for our kids. And so that bind us that, okay, we didn't love each other. A circumstance happened. We didn't say we didn't love each other. Circumstance happened. But all that energy that we had, we moved into our family, and the respect that I had for you doing what you did. And it still hurts me, but it's not sadness. It's like appreciation. You know, and you appreciate people, and people don't understand that, because when a man will do what you did, it makes me like, okay, that is something, a part of me that you can't like just like forget. You know, it's like you were there, we got divorced, we went through our process, and then we find out, okay, well, we didn't work as a husband and wife, but we work as friends, but then we still hang out for our kids. So so you came out of the picture as my husband, but you assumed the responsibility and being a good father for the kids. So we didn't, like, we were together, but we weren't together. You know, and that's what makes it beautiful, because we see so many people that they get into a relationship, it didn't work, and they hate each other. They hate, you know, they talk about the dads, or they don't want the kids to see the father, and we didn't have that. So people don't understand what we have. You know, the people that I date, no, Chuck, don't do that. The people that I date don't understand that you're not part of my life, in my heart, like a husband, but you're part of a father, a responsibility that they cannot, that's something you cannot just say, okay, we gotta forget it. You know, so they're like, okay, well, you let Bill be in a pedestal, but it's not Bill being a pedestal, it's being Bill did something that not a lot of men will do. And that's honor, and that's respect, and that's like, you know, I mean, how can you, someone's giving you a life, you know, you're giving you a life, and you're taking care of that life, you're taking, you know, the heart has to beat with the blood, you know, and it's not, we all need each other in a different way. Now look at my kids, and I didn't want my kids to hurt. I went through my pain, I went through my hurt, I did my tears, I did my cry, but in the end, I can say, as much as I give you, you know, crap, I can say one person that I can call, and I'm like, okay, if I'm crossed from here to Timbuktu, if, you know, if I can't call nobody else, there's one person I can call, is, you know, is Bill. So they don't understand that, you know. But
yeah, because I, like, growing up, I never really saw y'all fight. I mean, I obviously don't remember the divorce at all. I just remember like little snippets of, like, we were in the White House, we call it. The White House was big and luxurious, and I just remember, like, Dad moved out into a little apartment, and then all I remember after that was just, like, all of our furniture, like, leaving the house. And of course, like, me as, like, a 4-year-old, even looking back at the memory, it's not a bad memory. It's just, like, a fun memory, like, oh, we're moving. And I just remember going with Mom, looking at different houses, and, like, Mom would be like, do you want this house, do you want that house? And it was a fun memory. It wasn't something bad. Like, I don't look at it as divorce bad, because after Dad moved into an apartment, he moved into a big, beautiful house, and then Mom moved into her beautiful house, and it was fun. Like, there was no resentment. I don't have one memory of y'all screaming at each other, y'all fighting. I don't have any of that.
Because we didn't do that when we were married. We were hanging out. We didn't have friends. It was always Bill and Ramey and the kids, Bill and Ramey and the family. There was never well, we have friends, you know, we were each other friends, we're each other best friends, and that's what makes it amazing.
Each other. And we traveled, we rolled around, I mean, we did stuff, we went places, but you just stay home a lot, really.
I know Mom always talked about the boat, how y'all always went on the boat.
We had the boat on the lake, and we was there every weekend.
That's a good thing, though, that y'all have, like, we or at least have pictures and memories. Because I know Dad, I remember growing up, and I feel it's so weird to me that I put 2 and 2 together, but I think when I started YouTube in 2022, in June of 2022, literally almost 2 years ago, picking up the camera and like recording the girls wasn't so weird to me because of the fact that I always saw you with a little camcorder like this. So in reality, Dad, you were a YouTuber before YouTube was out because
I videotaped. I always had a camera.
I know, but like I'm saying, my whole childhood I always had a camera, and I thought it was so cool because now we can look back on home videos of me, and it's really cool that I do YouTube now, and I'm literally doing the exact same thing. The only thing is my equipment is a lot more updated than, you know, and maybe my kids, when they grow up, they'll be able to look through all the vlogs. I have 380 videos on my channel.
Wow.
Meaning that my kids will be able to watch everything. Like I have Emmeline. I started YouTube when Emmeline was 3 months old. So she has videos of her, and like she has videos with you and Mom in the same videos. And I think that is so cool that, you know, when y'all get 90 years old and you pass away, my kids will be able to look back on here and be like, oh wow, this was my birthday party and both my grandma and grandpa were there. Like my granny and my G-dad were there. And they were cordial. They weren't bad. Like, it's funny because P and Emmy, when they see like Granny, they're like, okay, Granny's here. And then they see you. I feel like they don't have a sense of, okay, well, Granny and G-Dad aren't together. You know, like Peyton's parents. But they're more of a, that's Granny and that's G-Dad. And they have a good feeling even when y'all are around. And I thank y'all for that because even though like you aren't married, my kids have no idea that you're divorced because you don't act like it. But they also don't have a anxiety when you come around because they're not afraid of bickering or fighting. They're like, they're okay. And that's not even a sense. It's, oh, these are my grandparents and I'm excited for them to come over.
Sure.
So I like that, Dad. Thanks, Mom. We really appreciate that.
We planned it that way.
Dad! But
It just happened.
do y'all have any more advice or any more stories you would like to discuss on this divorce, co-parenting while divorce journey?
I just, for me, the advice is set aside your differences. My advice is to set aside your differences. You know, you love each other for a reason. You got divorced for a reason. That's your season. You know, everything is in life. There's a season. You know, there's a season for everything in life. And I think focus on your kids. Focus on the kids' mental health, because what we created, if we create an animosity with each other, it will go on the kids. And I don't say it was always the best of everything. We had our ups and downs. You know, when I got divorced, I had to go and see his wives or his girlfriend, and he had to come and see mine. But we never had it to be like a war between us. So my thing for the woman that is single, and dating, you know, make sure that they know that you have a past. You know, make sure that they know that if they have a father, there's a lot of kids that doesn't have their father involved, and there's drama. You know, make sure that when you meet somebody, you say, hey, guess what? I have kids. They're going to see your kids. Make sure they love your kids. Make sure that they know, especially if you have like an ex-husband like me. He's going to be there, you know, and he's going to be involved, but he doesn't have you don't have a relationship like you're intimate. You just have a respect for them. And then you have to have somebody that's mature enough to understand that. It's not a jealousy, because I see my ex-husband, he's like anybody else, you know, but I have a respect for him that, you know, that it's just a respect, and it's just something that it's a past, but it's not a bad past anymore, because all your tears and all that. I mean, it's always good to have a journal for, you know, to write about your feelings every single day if you're having upset, because I know sometimes when I get upset, it comes to the, you know, it goes to the kids.
Yeah.
So, you know, talk about your feelings, you know, pray about your feelings. I'm a good, you know, for a person, for me, I pray about my feelings a lot. I write down my feelings, I cry, I listen to music. And that makes me good. So just, you know, go out and, you know, pray about a lot of things. You know, ask God for direction, ask God for forgiveness. there's a lot of things in life you're gonna have hurts and pain, but forgiveness is the most, because if you hold the animosity towards somebody else, you're like killing yourself. You're like giving them poison except for them to die, and then you're the one dying. So I believe that Bill and I are here because we forgive each other, you know. And then, you know, I mean, there's little things. I don't say we're gonna forgive the whole thing, you know. No. Go, Bill.
Dad, do you have anything else you want to say?
Not really.
I think this was fun.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing that y'all are able to help other, you know, either they're young couples or older couples or couples that are already seasoned. They've already been divorced for 20 years and now they're having grandchildren, and now they have to figure out how to have a relationship or a friendship with each other. I think this is good advice for anyone who's going through the divorce stage, to always remember to put your kids first, that your kids come first. You may have divorced each other, but you do not divorce your children. So thank you so much for watching the first episode of the second season of the Middleton Talk. Thank you so much for coming. If you haven't already, my mom has a podcast she just launched called Beauty for Ashes. I will put the link right here, or I'll put her little podcast right here for you to go check it out. Thank you so much, Dad. Thank you so much, Mom, for joining me on this podcast. This was really fun and really informative, and I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe to Middleton Talk. Bye, guys. Amy, go say bye to the camera.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good